All right, so let's finish up. This, I think, is lesson 3-4. Can someone check that for me? Is this lesson 3-4?
Yeah.
Okay, sum and difference of cubes, higher order factoring. Perfect. So on Thursday, we talked about sum and difference of cubes, and we had an assignment for that. We were looking for perfect cubes. But now we're going to look at what happens when you have something like 15 as n to the fourth. How are you supposed to factor n to the fourth? Well, if it looks like a trinomial, 3 terms that we're used to seeing, if that was an n squared and a 2n, how would we factor this normally? We would x factor it like normal, right? So we're going to take the same approach here. So we're going to talk about x factoring this. So what two numbers multiply to get negative 24 and add to get 2? Okay? 6 and 4, but which one needs to be negative here? The 4 needs to be negative. Good. All right, so can we take the shortcut? Right, because your coefficient here is 1. So now, though, because this is an n to the fourth...
You said the 6 needs to be negative, right?
No, the 4 needs to be negative. Instead of, usually when we would split this, we'd put an n and an n, right? Because it was coming from n squared. But now that it's coming from n to the fourth, we're going to put n squared and n squared. So everything else looks the same. N squared plus 6 and n squared minus 4. Now looking at this, is this all the way factored? Ashley and Samantha are noticing I have another set of what? Right here. That, oh, not right there. Wow. This n squared minus 4, right? Those are perfect squares. So that's going to factor down again. So instead of n squared minus 4, that's going to be n plus 2, n minus 2. And we didn't do anything with that n squared plus 6. So it's just going to come down in front. N squared plus 6.
I think a blanket.
And that's done. Yep. Let's look at 18. On 18, I have x to the 5th. Okay. Before I do that, though, we should always look for what?
GCM.
Greatest common factor. What is the common factor here, Donald? On number 18. What's a common factor that they all have?
Oh, an 18?
Yep. What do they all have?
X.
They all have an x, right? So let's take an x out, which leaves me with x to the 4th minus 24x squared minus 25. We okay with that? Mm-hmm. So now it looks like a problem like number 15, where I'm going to have to x factor. So what two numbers multiply to get negative 25 and add to get negative 24? Negative 25 and a positive 1. Now, are you allowed to take the shortcut? You can, right? Because the number, the coefficient in front of x to the 4th is 1. So we're going to forget about this x for just a minute. Okay, we're going to leave that off to the side for just a minute. We're going to set up our parentheses, but because it's x to the 4th, what does that mean when I put in my parentheses? Good. X squared minus 25 and x squared plus 1. Now what do I have to remember to do? Bring down your x. Hey, get that under control, please. Yeah, and then we have x squared minus 25, right? Which that can go, again, x plus 5, x minus 5, x squared plus 1, and, oh, nope, it was a plus 1. Yep. And then your x down in front. Okay, so it's not a hard factoring. You just have to keep looking to see. Sometimes you're going to see the hidden things. Okay, so you got to look to make sure that there's nothing hidden inside there, that there's another factor layered inside. Okay, any questions on that?
X squared plus 1 study that.
It's right. It's an addition problem, right? And we can't factor addition of squares. Right. Okay, so let's look down there where it says factoring by grouping with 4 terms. You actually should have already done this in your homework today, or from Thursday. let's look at number 21. We know that when we have 4 terms, we're going to start by grouping, right? So I'm going to group the first 2 together, and I'm going to group the second 2 together. What do the first 2 have in common? Good, x squared. Which leaves me with x minus 1. What does that second group have in common? Not just 3, but a 9, right? Which leaves me with x minus 1. So remember, if they have the same thing in parentheses, I write that 1 time. And then whatever we pulled out, we're going to write that in the other parenthesis, x squared plus 9. Now, what if that was x squared minus 9? We'd have a difference of squares and we would factor again, right? But it's plus, so I am finished. I don't need to do anything else. Okay, let's look at 24. So again, what? We didn't finish these notes, but I assigned the homework. I'll tell you again at the end which ones you need to make sure you do. Okay? So we're going to group the first 2 together. We're going to group the second 2 together. So in the first group, what do they have in common?
2x to the 4th.
Ooh, 2x to the 4th. Good. Okay. If I divide out by 2x to the 4th, I'm left with just x minus 9. What about that next group? What does that next group have in common, Alyssa? Say it louder. 7. Good. So we're going to pull a 7 out, which leaves us with x minus 9. Same thing in parentheses, right? So I write that 1 time. And I have 2x to the 4th plus 7. That's all. Questions on that? You guys okay with that? Okay, so based on these notes then, you need to finish all of homework 16. So on Thursday, you only had to do part of homework 16, right? So now I want you to do the whole homework 16. So both pages 13 and 14 on homework 16. Okay? Yes.